Wow, not bad timing with the music. Almost as if I did that on purpose. Wow. Not a big turnout so far. It's just not a private community live stream, but I think the way I announced it initially, everybody got the idea. Because for the longest time, the only people in the chat were the green people. But Lamb's here, and Richard Williams and Edward Renner, so maybe more people will get the word. Also, what's going on out there this Tuesday night? I know it's election night in many places. Is there live streams going on that might conflict? We'll see. We'll see. But whoever's here, we're here. Welcome. This is the first, and yet to be determined if it'll be the last Tuesday evening live stream. And I put it on the thumbnail because what else you got to do on Tuesday night? And Tuesday night is kind of a meh Tuesday night. And I thought, well, that would be perfect. Because it's not a night where you basically celebrate anything. So we'll see. But people are waking up out there. Good evening to you all. Good evening. I don't know who may have come in before, but YouTube lost them all. So the first one I see is 5:45 today was Cliff. Hi, Cliff. How you doing? Mike Seeley's here. Barry Simon. Good evening to you. Mike Seeley Jr. Sandy Blythe. Hi, Sandy. Nikki W's here. Tina's here. Hiya, Tina. Good to see you. And Rick is here. Loretta. Hi, Loretta. How you doing? And let the chatting begin. Rick Loretta. Chris Swain from Australia. Happy tomorrow. I guess it's early in the morning. And Donna Ray, Bacon Runner. Good evening to you. Mark C. said hello, and evidently he's been a member of the community for 22 months. Wow, one of the originals. Thanks for hanging in there with us. I said hi to Richard Williams from Copper Hill, Tennessee. How you doing? And let's see who Jerry Voitis is here. Hiya, Jerry. How are you, my friend? Edward Renner. Good evening, Marla Kelly. Hi, Marla and Lambs. Has the show been advanced? That's good news for Europe's night owls. Evening all. Yeah, I put it up yesterday, Lambs. Created the live stream last night, so it's been showing up in people's feeds, but you never can count on YouTube to propagate these things. At least I can't. Brian is here. How you doing? B. Matt and Nancy Berkey. Hi, Nancy. Hello and welcome. Some new names. Angel Dust. I like that. Angel Dust. Angel Dust Sr. from Oregon. How are you? Oh, look at all these new names I don't recognize. Deborah. Curiary. Yeah, I've seen that before. How are you? Phil says hello. Miss your neighbor. Ah, yeah, that's who Debbie is. Debbie used to live, I never placed the last name, but Debbie used to live next door to me. And she moved back to New York and then moved back down here, but somewhere else, not next door to me. Hiya, Deb. Welcome to you. Welcome. What a surprise. Tammy Vitorch. Hiya, Tammy. Good to see you this evening. And last I got on this list, Brenda McIntyre. Good evening, everyone. Don't let your meat loaf. That is always great advice. And that's the chat. That's it so far. Wow, that's unusual. So tomorrow morning, I skipped the Tuesday live stream in order to do this tonight, but I had a nice day. I hope you all did too. A lot of tension out there. A lot of tension, especially in New York. Wow. I don't know what time the polls close in New York. I don't like to talk about politics, but there's a lot at stake. A lot at stake for good old New York City. And who knows what's going to ripple out from that. So we'll see. We'll see. Whatever happens, we'll live with. And whatever consequences, they'll live with. Makes you shake your head, though. Makes you shake your head. Gilream, good evening. How are you? Good to see you at nighttime. I expected a lot of people who have a hard time getting to the other streams will finally find their way in here tonight, and hopefully split it up between 3 morning streams a week, 3 evening streams, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, with the Thursday being private community. I'm hopeful that that'll be a change for the better. Really like to think so. Yeah, Deb says, that's the truth, where I'm even worried upset. Well, anything that affects New York City, that dramatically is going to affect the whole state of New York. Unfortunately. John Camilleri, how are you? Virginia, too. Be glad when this is... Yeah, well, we'll see tonight, unless we get one of these hanging Chad situations and it comes down to we don't have a definitive answer for a month or two. So who knows? Who knows? Mike Lowe is here. Hiya, Mike. How you doing? Sandy says, 67 watching. Yeah, it's climbing slowly. On Saturday night, we averaged 130, between 130 and 140 people. That's Saturday night. That's the night I expected everybody to be busy, to be out and about. But, and it was also later. It was at 9 p.m., which means it's not late in the afternoon, dinner time, drive time, and all that out on the West Coast. So I figured on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, it'd probably be okay. I'm going to keep 9 o'clock for Saturday, and the 3 mornings a week at 7 a.m. And everything is always subject to change, depending on how well it's received, and that's the key. We get instant feedback on these things, number of views, and you just basically say, after you give it a little time, see how it goes for a couple weeks, and if it doesn't appear to be interesting or conflicts with something else that most people want to watch, I'm not married to it. I can do it anytime, pretty much anytime, day or night. But I do enjoy a couple of mornings during the week, including this morning, to not have to be ready to go at 7 a.m. That's enjoyable. And don't be surprised if I make changes in the morning live stream too. But so far, I haven't planned anything. We'll never know. Rick says he'll be out of here by 8:30. And Mark C. gifted 5 memberships. Thanks, Mark. Thanks so much to the private community. And we'll have that live stream on Thursday night. We have Loretta. I said hi to you. Yep, Mark C. is very generous. Yes, ma'am. Rabbi Susie's here. Good evening. How are you? How are you? And hey, Tanya's here. How you doing, Tanya? This one's for you. All the people that are out there on the left coast and had a hard time making it early. I thought it would be nice. These evening streams, especially 7 o'clock, are perfect for me. I don't know if I want to do it every night, but they're perfect for me. It's dark by about 6:30. I found myself last night thinking it was about 8 o'clock or 8:30, and it was 6 o'clock. And I said, what am I going to do between now? I didn't want to go to bed at 7. and I won't have that problem tonight. So that's good. What I'll probably end up doing tonight, like I usually do after a live stream, as I go out on my back porch. It's not too cool out there this evening. It's in the lower 70s. Light up a cigar. Probably watch the replay of this thing. Criticize myself. Barry said, did you go outside this for a morning walk? No, that's the thing. I actually, what time did I get up? About 10 minutes. Well, by the time I got up and got dressed, I trimmed my beard, isn't it pretty? And got out. It was like 10 to 7. I put the coffee on. Then I went into my little exercise room and spent some time in there. I was thinking about, but I didn't make it after the walk this morning. I should have, but I did. Something came up. I don't remember what it was, but something came up, and next thing I knew it was 11 o'clock. Oh, I know what happened. I know what happened this morning. How could I forget? I created that Chapter 3 video on the carb addiction spectrum little thing, and got it posted. So that took up most of my morning. By the time I got done with that, that's what I was doing all morning. And it took all morning. And I had to record it and then edit it and get it up there, create the thumbnail. But then it was time to eat. Then it was early in the afternoon. Then I had a call this afternoon with one of my computer clients. They use Microsoft Teams, which is like Zoom, but I had to sit there for an hour or so through that call, planning out how we're going to do things to the website. So my day got pretty well shot by all that. That was that question here from Barry. Yeah, maybe tomorrow morning after the live stream, I won't go right out and watch the replay. I'll actually go out and go for a short walk. Okay. You know, I had asked to have a panel on Saturday night and posted a link, and nobody wanted to come in. So I thought tonight I would leave it up to you. I have no planned topics for tonight, and I figured if nobody wants to come in and talk to me, I would just interact with you in the chat, see how Tuesday night went, see if anybody out there actually cared, and we'll take it from there. Sandy Bly says she's sleepy already. Am I putting you to sleep? God, I hope not. I hope not, Sandy. And I see Peter's not here tonight, so he's probably working. Oh, Tanya's in PA. Wow, okay. I thought you were in California for some reason. I'll be darned. Okay, in PA. So it's 7 o'clock there. I'm glad you're here. Several lugging from work. I said hi to you, Donna Ray. We'll say hi again. Bacon Runner here tonight. Glad to see it. So if you think you might want to come in and talk a little bit, you can. Very rarely lost for words, but I hadn't really planned much. I don't want to talk about news topics. I was a little disappointed. I will come in with you, Mitch, if you want me to. Okay, that's one. I don't want to have just one guest because I put them on the spot. That's like almost like it becomes like an interview. So let's see if anybody else wants to come in. Not necessary. D-A-H-N-E, Don R. Good evening, Mitch. Finally made it live. Good. Welcome. Welcome. Well, we're up to 74 people. Could be worse. It says 79 over there. 78. Yeah, okay. It's climbing up. Not bored. It's the time change. Yes, Andy. It takes a couple days to get straightened out. But I put up that video today. And I'm kind of excited about that concept, but it seems like there aren't too many other people really excited about it. In what respect, I kind of expected and talked about the reason that people just don't want to hear about the fact that they're addicts. Most of them don't believe it because they like what they're addicted to. That's why most alcoholics don't want to change anything. They like the substance that they're addicted to. And since carbohydrates are different than any so-called controlled substance or alcohol, they're legal. They're in your face everywhere. They're promoted. They're engineered to be as satisfying, comforting, and tasty as they can be. And as evidenced by the grocery store shelves, they go out by the pallet load every day. So, I mean, somebody's eating all that crap. And these people, if you'd ask them, they'd rather not give it up. And that's why the low-carb carnivore community is so tiny. So I've got so much working against me coming out there with an idea that's probably what the human race needs to start thinking about. Based in reality, based in common sense, and I don't think many people can find fault with, but they're not flocking towards it, that's for sure. So it's a lot of work. A lot of thought goes into it, and a lot of future work. If I really take this thing through to completion, rather than just cut it short, come up with a quick summary, and let everybody do with it as they would the information, and leave it out there. And I haven't decided yet, but right now, the video I posted today has the lowest number of, it's been up for 5 hours and 30 minutes. It's got 322 views. I mean, that's a loud boo from the entire community out there. It's a little disappointing and a little insulting because I was so proud of the message and thought it would be so helpful to so many people that are struggling. And in this day and time of so much confusion, so much people changing direction, so many opinions that just can't be true, that most of us don't know exactly what we should do, and we're desperately searching for something that makes sense. And I thought I'd covered all the bases with this. I got over 1,000 views on the first video, about 800 on the second, and it looks like this one will top out probably about 500 or 600. That's not a good trend. And if that's the best it can do, I'm going to call it quits on that topic. Because why would I want to waste my time to disappoint myself? There's no cost for this information. There's no charge. You don't have to buy a course. No, nothing. I can't even give it away. And when you can't give away something that took you a lifetime to learn and really works, you got to know there's a lot of forces working against it. And there's forces in our own community working against my message as well. And that doesn't help. Doesn't help. not going to mention any names, but that does not help when I have to hear other carnivore influencers basically saying, not saying don't listen to Mitch, but coming out with an opposite message. And I don't need that. I don't want to play those games. I want to be happy. That doesn't make me happy. So I'm not going to put out another one of these chapters tomorrow. Maybe not another one for the rest of the week. See if anybody might be interested in it. I got some fabulous comments on it from my friends. 2 or 3 comments that were so flattering, but in general, in fact, all the comments I got were flattering, but there was only a few of them. Only a few of them. Let's see what I got here. I won't tell you who wrote these because I don't want to embarrass anybody. Dear Mitch, this has to be the most brilliant video you have ever given us. Well, you know, you don't get compliments any greater than that. We need a t-shirt for this new brainchild. I've kind of given up on the t-shirts. Nobody buys the t-shirts. I go to all that trouble and 3 of them get bought, and the commissions on those are nothing anyway, and they charge too much for them, so I must feel bad about that. Then I got a comment here that says, not an alcoholic, they go to meetings. Now, I don't know what he meant by that. So, not an alcoholic, they go to meetings. Well, do you think 10% of the people that are alcoholics and are really helpless to fight it go to meetings? Or do 90% of them deny that they're an alcoholic, protest that they don't have a problem, that they can quit anytime they want and mind your own business? That's the problem with addiction. But alcohol doesn't have half of this country's economy with their business riding on the fact that people who are addicted to carbs don't wise up and somehow manage to cure their carb addiction. And the only way I've ever found to cure that carb addiction is 0 carbs for people that are high up on that spectrum, which is most of us. All we got to do is look around. It is the answer, and I don't even want credit for it. I'll go away if somebody just pick up the ball but the problem is we can't get our message out there anyway. That's obvious. We can't get the message out. To eat meat, don't eat the sugars, don't eat the poisons. Nobody wants to hear that. It disrupts their business. They've got us all addicted. And they like us to be right where we are. They don't want us to fix it. Why would they? If your business was making cookies, why would you want people to demonize cookies? So everything's working against us, I guess. Hopefully, maybe this work I did on those 3 videos will actually mean something to a few people and help them. But it is just so much work. And you have to put so much passion into it and so much thought into it that it wouldn't be the first idea I tried that didn't work out that I've abandoned, and this may be the next one. So we'll try to we'll see what happens and try to get a little conclusion to it out there so that maybe there is something actionable or meaningful if you do grasp the concept and can apply it to yourself. I was afraid this might happen. Anybody that tries to do away with any kind of addiction always has the pushers and suppliers of whatever it is that people are addicted to rise up against them. They've got tons of money, and we don't. That's why none of our documentaries ever become famous in the carnivore community. None of them. Keep making them. Keep getting excited about them. Knock on your next door neighbor's door and say, hey, did you see that animal documentary? What? How would they find out about it? How would they ever find out about it? There's no advertisements. They don't have the money to promote it. I wouldn't be surprised if Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola, who supply the soft drinks to all the movie theaters, have basically sent some kind of a warning to their theaters that we would be very pleased if you didn't show that movie in your theater, or else we might have to double our prices. This stuff goes on all the time like that, and we don't ever hear about it, but it does. Too many forces against us. But we keep going, and here we are. And obviously, this line of talking doesn't really cheer anybody up because people are bailing out on me left and right. Here tonight. We're down to about 70. So what do you guys want to do tonight? Let me see what you're saying in the chat. See, Peter's here. Hi, Peter. How you doing? An alcoholic doesn't care about a class or a label. It's about owning up to it and addressing it. Isn't that the same for carbohydrates? I wonder. No, because lambs, we don't even, there's not even a stigma attached to consuming carbohydrates. Nobody has been told that it's bad for you. Your medical community and your doctors and the government are telling you just the opposite. They're telling you it's good for you. The stigma is on red meat. It's backwards. It's backwards. We people who eat red meat have to apologize for it. We're the ones that have to defend ourselves from people saying that it's going to kill you, it's going to give you heart attacks. Nobody's saying bad things about carbohydrates and breakfast cereals and all that healthy whole grains and breads and pizza and ice cream. Nobody's saying bad things about that other than, well, you got to do it in moderation or else you become big as a house. But they're not demonizing it like alcohol. It's not frowned upon by anybody. What's frowned upon is the healthy food that we're eating. It's screwed up. It's screwed up out there. I'm firmly convinced it's never going to be fixed. Nothing we can do to fix it. We might spread the word a little bit. But how's that Make America Healthy Again working out for us? It's not. It's not. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. Rick's talking about ducks, and Tammy's listening, and Barry Simon, I meant you were a wild duck. Barry's Simon talking about ducks with Rick. Oh, wow. Too much money at stake for Maha. Yes, Loretta. Of course, the politics of it. The lobbyists. The money they throw at maintaining the status quo and keeping themselves in business. And we're not helping ourselves in this community. We're not helping ourselves. Not with the messaging these days. Not with all the people that keep telling, well, maybe you need to add carbs because your blood sugar might be going up a little bit, and you may be having kidney problems because you're not eating You're not eating carbs. And we got doctors now that are getting patients on that message. You need to come in and see me. I need to do a few $1,000 worth of blood tests on you. And unfortunately, some of the blood tests, if you are a strict carnivore, you're eating zero carbs, are going to be very high compared to the normal carb-eating person. Two of them in particular, your cholesterol. If you're lean and you're on carnivore, your cholesterol is going to go through the roof, which is a good thing, but they're, of course, going to panic and want to sell you all kinds of drugs and give you bad advice. The second thing is your creatinine. Not creatine, but creatinine, which is a metabolic waste product that could double or triple if you're not eating carbs. Just so happens to be the number that they calculate your glomerular filtration rate, the EGFR, and EGFR is estimated, and it's derived from the creatinine number. And when your EGFR gets to a certain point, they declare that your kidneys are failing, and they did that to me because of my much higher than what they call normal creatinine. My metabolism is not burning sugar, and I use that term loosely. And when you're in ketosis and when you are not eating sugar, your creatinine is going to be higher. And the medical community, urologists, will interpret that as kidney failure. And they scare the shit out of you with it unless you happen to know that that's normal for somebody. I have a blood test coming up in January, first of the year. I know what my numbers are going to be before I even go in. I can fix that. I can make my numbers make me look almost, perfectly normal compared to their numbers. If for about 30 days before I go in there, I eat a pint of real ice cream every day, with chocolates and cherries and sugar and the whole 9 yards in it. Like Ding Norwich did with the Oreo experiment. I'll probably make myself physically sick. I'll probably end up with terrific joint pain. I might gain 20 pounds. But my numbers will be right on the money. And according to the people at the VA, I will be. God, Mitch, your numbers look great. How come you look like shit? Because I started doing what every normal person on this country does, and that's why what you consider as normal is really just an average of a bunch of sick, unhealthy people. But that's where the normal numbers come from. It's a bell curve. So I'm not going to do that. And I'll just ignore them when he give me the numbers. And I know my kidneys aren't failing. In the same breath, interestingly enough, when I go for my annual physical, they do a urine sample. And that's the first place they look for kidney failure. Are you spilling protein? Are you spilling sugar in your urine? All these things. That's why they do urinalysis. And my urine tests always come back perfect. Perfect color, perfect pH. No nothing in there that's not supposed to be there. And then they look at my EGFR, which comes from my creatinine levels, and they say, well, you're in stage 2 liver failure, but other than that, you're all right. And I laugh. They don't. That's why I can't stand going to doctors. If you can't trust your doctor to know what the hell that is going on, unless you are a normal sick person like everybody else, they can't get over the fact that I'm not taking any drugs. It's amazing. They can't get over it. It's not normal. Surely you've got to, you have to take something, Mitch. How can you be almost 80 years old and not take blood pressure pills and sugar pills and statins? How can you not do that? Everybody does that. We're screwed up. We're absolutely screwed up. Oh, Lewis is here. Just got back from voting. I don't even want to ask you who you voted for, Lewis. And don't tell us. Peter says, I just watched Mike's Mr. Cast Iron's interview on Dave Mack's channel. What? There aren't too many people that Dave Mack hasn't interviewed. He interviewed me twice. Peter says, I just watched Mike's Mr. Cast Iron interview on Dave Mack's channel. That was just posted. Really great stuff if you guys haven't seen it. Okay, Peter. Greta, not a long comment. Greta says, that's right, Mitch. My grandchildren are told they can have bagels, but no cream cheese or butter on it. I told them, forget the bagel and just eat the butter. That's true. They don't know. They just don't know. It's not that they're evil or they mean harm, especially the lower level medical personnel, the dietitians, a lot of the nurses. But when somebody gets to be a doctor, you'd think they'd have enough smarts to actually think about what they're saying with all the evidence. But so few of them wake up. And maybe you take something like happened to Ken Berry. You know, he became a 300-pound diabetic following all the advice he was giving to all his patients. And there has to be a point where a responsible, reasonable person says to themselves, wait a minute, time out. I'm giving all these people all this advice that I've learned and have been taught, and is pretty well mandated that I give them. Got them all on statins. Got them all on blood pressure medication. Give them pamphlets with all the government-recommended food pyramid, my plate, and all that stuff. Caution them against eating red meat and saturated fat. Make sure they eat canola oil and margarine. And they're all sick and fat like me. How long do you do that if you have a half a brain cell left that's still working and don't go, this doesn't seem right, but I can't put my finger on why. How few doctors are out there that have reached that point? They're so busy playing the game, filing the insurance claims, trying to keep track of the business of being a doctor, or working for a hospital or a big medical practice that is run like a corporation who could care less about the outcome of the patient. It's all about the stockholders and the investors and their returns. And that's what we've got right now. And even with as much as I think I know about what they're doing wrong, I'm still captive, because bad things can happen to you, and that's where they're going to take you. That's where they took me, to the emergency room. And when you're half paralyzed, what else are you going to do? You know, you're not going to say, let me die. That's the scariest thing about me looking forward in my life, getting older, is that I don't want to be taken to their hospitals again. But what if I fall and break something? Makes me try to be very, very careful. Lizzie. Hi, Lizzie. Good morning. Good evening. Good evening to you. Oh, Loretta said, my dad was like Mitch. He lived to be 95 years old and no medicine. Lots of cancer. Well, that's too bad. That's too bad. But hey, you live to be 95. Yeah. Not bad. You know who died today? Did you hear Dick Cheney? Dick Cheney died. 84 years old. I have mixed emotions about Dick Cheney. And Rick is reminding us that he was Dave Mack's first interview. Wow, wow, wow. Quite a claim to fame. He's done a lot of interviews. Oh, you're absolutely right, Greta. I was talking about kidneys. I was talking about kidney failure. I never said the word liver once, I don't think. But, oh, yeah, absolutely. EGFR means estimated glomerular filtration rate. And it's a measure of kidney health. And EGFR is calculated. That's what the E means. It's a calculated number. It's not a measured number. And it's calculated based on the level of creatinine in your blood. So high creatinine, in their mind, equates to kidney failure. But it is kidney. It's got nothing to do with the liver. You're absolutely correct. Correctamundo. And if I said liver, that was my bad. But I know I was talking about urine, and I was talking about kidney failure, and I'm sure the word kidney came out a few times. As opposed to MK. We have MK too. It's MK. This is just Doctors are trained to treat symptoms with medications. It's what they know how to do. Yeah, that is the definition of the term allopathic medicine. Allopathic medicine treats conditions with drugs. Osteopathic medicine tries to, well, chiropractic tries to aim towards bones. There's a lot of pathics. The word path means disease. That's why the word pathology means the study of disease. Pathogen means the little bugger that causes the disease. So there's a few keywords in medicine that kind of tell you what field it's in. My favorite medical expression is an idiopathe. They use the word idiopathic to describe something that they can't figure out. And it's derived from the word idiot. So you don't see too many doctors who, on their shingle, hang a sign out that says that they practice idiopathic medicine. But damn, if you don't hear that term thrown around in the medical community a lot. Idiopath. And Lucy says she's awake for this live. Well, that's great. That's great. That's great. Oh, wow. This is not the world's most exciting live stream, guys, but it is Tuesday night. It is Tuesday night. We'll do it again next Tuesday and see if it's worth doing. Not a lot of chat. It's very rare that I can get through the chat. And now I'm sitting here just waiting. Lewis says, you didn't vote for who I think. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Lewis. I really didn't think you would vote for, I don't want to say it, but I figure you voted for either Curtis Sliwa or Cuomo, but I don't know. I don't know. Are you optimistic about the election? How do you feel about it? Do you think it's going to go okay and New York will survive? Richard Adams Jr. says, Mitch, that man you're talking about knows what addiction is. He's a smart man, just like you. I think you need to talk to him about addiction. You are on the right track. It's going to take time. Well, thank you, Richard. There's a friendship at stake and everything, and I don't want to trash anybody, and even husbands and wives have major disagreements on things, and I don't want to air that out too much in public, but all I can tell you is when I start getting a slew of comments, so-and-so said that addiction isn't a real thing, I take that as kind of a personal slap in the face. And my decision at this point was to basically kind of part ways. It's sad. It's really sad, but we come from two completely different places on a number of topics. I don't like or dislike people based on any of that stuff, but I just don't. I want to stop the bickering. I swore I would not mention his name anymore, because. And everybody thinks they know who I'm talking about, but maybe I'm talking about somebody else. You never know. You never know. But I don't. No, Sandy, I'm not going to bring just one person in. That puts us too much on the spot to just have to maintain a conversation with me one-on-one, and I'm not doing that. I can't even watch those shows anymore. I can't watch a show where they just interview somebody. I can't hear the same story one more time. I just can't. I can't. The only time I might watch a one-on-one is if it's with somebody that I really think might have something or an insight that I haven't thought of or heard, and I might learn something. But to sit and listen to do what Dave Mack does, it's great. People who are just coming to Carnivore need to hear that kind of stuff. It's motivational for them. Movies like what Curry's making, documentaries of people telling their stories of the miracles of what happened to them, is necessary for people who aren't in the community. I haven't been doing this as long as I have, for them to hear. But for me, I can't waste the time, and I'm not interested. And if something does interest me, I watch it. Today, I watched a video that was on. Did I send myself a link to that? Because sometimes when I see these videos, I actually send myself a link, so I might recommend it to people. Yeah, Anthony Chafee was on. It was about autophagy. And the title of the video was Autophagy is Not Enough. And fasting. It was about fasting and autophagy. And I respect Anthony Chafee. He's one of the ones that are on the top of my list as far as just telling it like it is. He's a very smart young guy. I haven't really heard him say anything that I vehemently disagree with. But Rick says, my reason to watch videos is to meet people. Of course, Rick. But not me. You know, most other carnivore YouTubers like me, they always inject themselves into every chat on every video and every comment and everything because they're trying to attract attention to their channel. I'm the exact opposite. I'm self-destructive in that respect. At the bottom of the list of my priorities are whether my channel grows. I've given up trying to make any money, don't care anymore. Whatever little money happens to come in, great. But I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for two reasons. Number one, to give me something to do. In that respect, it's like a hobby. And number two, it would be a shame. I try to share what I've learned. It took me a lifetime to learn. I have the same problem that you guys have, only probably worse than most. And I've learned how to fix it. And it would be a shame for me to go to my grave without at least trying to share some of it. In that respect, I'm the genuine article. And I don't want to become a groupie for any big star, big carnivore star. I don't want to be a Ken Berry groupie. I don't want to be a Sean Baker groupie. I don't care if they know who I am or not. I never invited them for an interview, and they've never invited me. And I don't care. I do my thing. Got a nice little following. I keep trying to come up with new things that I think might be helpful. Because at this point, my so-called theories are way past the theory phase. I've proven them, and so many of my followers have proven that I'm on the right track. But the big difference is it works for what I figured out is how to overcome carb addiction. And if you're not a carb addict, anything I say has no meaning for you personally. And your opinions are meaningless to me. It sounds harsh, but that's the reality. That's the reality of it. That's why would I care about somebody that has no idea of what we addicts go through? And in their mind, we're just weak and it's our fault. And because they can go without having these substances pull on them, because they can do it, that makes us some kind of inferior, weak human being because we can do it. Why would I give a shit about what those people think? And I don't mind telling them either. Jem is here. How you doing, Jem? Good to see you. Oh, they're being hard on you tonight, Rick. You asked for it, man. Loretta says, I'm here for Mitch information and sage advice. Well, I think I do that from time to time. And that video I put out today, that was spot on. And I got that comment, and it said, how was it worded? Every day you just get smarter and smarter, something like that. It was very, very, very flattering. And I felt like a little joke of an answer, but I didn't. I wanted to write back, well, at least I know there's two of us on the planet that think that, me and you. So, fishing for compliments, I guess. Tanya says, you are addressing for some, the fact is quitting is kind of easy, but staying quit is the hard part. It absolutely is. Because you can, if you're let's call it a 60 or 70 or above on this fictional spectrum that I've invented here. Because I think we need to have a way to differentiate the severe carb addicts from the take it or leave it carb addicts. because the attitudes of people at different places on the spectrum are night and day, just like every other spectrum. There's a spectrum in everything. There's a spectrum in how much you love to watch football games. I'm a 0 on that spectrum. On the other end of the spectrum, there's the 100s. The people that take off their shirt, paint themselves all up, paint their faces and their chest, go to a football game 4 hours before it starts, drink beer in the parking lot, tailgate, go in, scream the entire football game, and make a fool out of themselves. And then there's me. The Super Bowl was on? Who was playing? I hadn't heard. We're certainly not going to have the same reaction to things that happen in the world of football. And when it comes to eating and food and carbohydrates, you can't compare somebody like Rick, who we know could give it time. Rick, you could throw him in a swimming pool full of Skittles, and not 1 gram of sugar would make it into his body. He doesn't want the stuff. He never did want the stuff. It doesn't make him any better because he doesn't want the stuff. That's just the way he's built. His programming. He doesn't want the stuff. You take somebody else, they'd eat half the swimming pool full of Skittles and have to be taken away in an ambulance. And still wanting more Skittles. You can't find one rule that you can apply to both of those people, and the attitudes of those people are going to be wildly, wildly different. Wildly different. So you can take advice. If you're a severe carb addict, you can take advice from somebody that can eat. At a birthday party, well, I had a cupcake. Well, I had a little ice cream. Because you know, if you did that, you're sunk, helpless, out of control, stopping at all the convenience stores on the way home, and possibly ruining your entire life because you can't start over and get back on it. So you can't listen to people to say, well, it's okay to just eat it once in a while. That's the moderation crowd. That's at the low end of the spectrum. Do you see why this is something that we have to think about before we give advice to people or decide what advice to take? It is so essential to understand, but to understand it and believe that it is a real thing. Took me a lifetime to learn all the nuances and all the reasons why it's like this and why this person's not like that person. There is a reason, a scientific reason why we're different. How it affects the brain, it affects our thinking, our attitude, our experiences. All this stuff is so different in every person. Where your ancestors are from counts. I want to try to... people don't want to spend the time listening to it. There's a football game on, for God's sake. You can lead a horse to water is the most frustrating expression in the world. People will complain to me all day long about all their problems and they can't stop. And I try to tell them the answer, and then they're just not, they don't care to listen. They don't have the time. And you notice I get a little perturbed sometimes and say, if you guys aren't listening, why am I talking? But I keep talking because I don't want credit for it. I don't care if anyone remembers that Mitch is the guy that's not going to do me any good. Doesn't pay any bills. I don't need awards. I don't want to be famous. But I don't want this, all of this. I tried to write a book 20-some years ago with a lot of the same themes in it, but nobody cared. Nobody was interested. Nobody was interested. Yeah, I saw Dick Cheney died, 84 years old. Well, I'm not going to mourn his loss. He's a strange guy. And his wife, oh my God, where do these people come from? And what happens to them? What happens to them? There are so many influencers out there, adds carbs or not to add carbs. It's a choice. Well, it's a choice, but that's where you have to know yourself. That choice would be okay for some people, and it will completely ruin other people. So that's one very important consideration. You've got to think of the consequences if you're an addict. And if you're a high number addict, a severe addict, I'm afraid the answer is abstinence. Not something an addict wants to hear. So they fight it and rationalize reasons why not. And when they find fault with my logic, I'm not talking to their sane thinking conscious mind. I'm listening to the lame excuses that their subconscious is flowing into their conscious mind. Right alongside the, well, one last time I'll do it. I'll start again tomorrow. It'll be okay. Giving them permission and giving them a reason not to believe that they have to cut that substance off completely because we're going to miss it. How else are we going to feel good if we can't eat all that crap? And you couple that response from the addicts themselves with the response from all the drug pushers, which are the big food companies, the people that accept their advertising money, the politicians that accept their bribes and political contributions. The drug companies have profit from selling drugs through this corrupt medical system we have to all the people that had diseases that never existed before until they became so addicted to carbs that they constantly, every day, all day, poison themselves with sugar. What motive does anybody have to want to put this to an end? When even the victims themselves don't even know that they're victims. Is it any wonder why Make America Healthy Again has done jack shit up until now? Not a thing. The best they did would get people, companies to say, by 2027 or so, we'll replace those bad food dyes with not so bad food dyes. Wow. What action. What a revolution that was. It's frustrating because guys like me, people like all of you who watch this stuff and immerse yourself in this stuff, do this stuff, benefit from it, are as frustrated as I am in seeing that even your friends and neighbors and relatives, with you as an example right in their face, think you're crazy and won't give this stuff up. And the doctors tell them that you're crazy too and they need to keep doing what they're doing. Oh, and by the way, here's a new prescription for you. It is so absurd. And are we just doubling down as a race, as a species? Are we not as smart anymore as the cavemen? They may not have known all the stuff we know, but in order to survive in their conditions, they had to be cunning and smart. And according to a lot of geneticists, our brains today are a lot smaller than the hominids, than the Homo sapiens that lived 100,000 years ago. We are. That's why our teeth are crooked. We don't have big wide jaws anymore. We're deteriorating from 12 to 15,000 years since they started growing wheat and we started eating that stuff. We are devolving in so many respects. And the evidence for that is everywhere. We dug up so many skulls from 100,000 years ago which had bigger brain cases than the average skulls do today. We better be careful. You've all seen the movie Return to the Planet of the Apes. We may be heading back in that direction again. I don't know, but what we keep doing is not solving any problems. Drug companies are still record revenues. They're still building more nursing homes, more dialysis centers, more hospitals. Medical schools keep pumping these people out, opening new medical schools. And they're not teaching anything different. It's sad. I mean, we could talk about the problem, but there is a solution to it. Unfortunately, those of us that are out there yelling and jumping up and down, look over here, and get 400 views on a video. It's not changing any minds. That just means you got 400 people in the choir, but you're not changing any minds. And then there's a video right next to it on my YouTube feed. Right next to it. And that video was talking about a new Chinese, of all things, electric vehicle from a company called BYD. Kind of like the Chinese version of Tesla. They're building cars in China that make the cars that are built everywhere else look amateur, look 10 years behind the time. The craftsmanship, the technology, the designs make our cars and German cars and Korean cars like Hyundai, Japanese cars, make them look horrible. Gorgeous cars, luxury cars that make Rolls Royces, interiors that you can't believe they can build cars with interiors. They're out there. Just look it up on the internet, the videos of these things. And the prices of these cars are 40 to 50% less than the stuff that's made in Germany, Japan, South Korea, or America. In Chinese money, no equivalent. But the sad part is, everybody loves a gorgeous car, and to watch the seats, the back seats are like limousines in some of these. I'm talking about cars that it cost less than what a Toyota SUV costs. And in the back seats, they got back seats that automatically go into a zero gravity position, and then partitions lower down between the driver and the back seat, and that partition, they have a projector built into the car that projects a TV or whatever, or your computer screen on that partition, and massaging seats, and you can't believe real leather seats, not vegan leather, real wood trim, gorgeous matched grain woodwork like you find in a yacht. These things are works of art, and they cost half of what the plastic crap that they're selling us. But here's the irony of it. We'll never see them. They'll never be for sale in this country. One of the manufacturers of these cars is Huawei. You ever heard of that? Ever hear of them? Huawei. Huawei. They're banned from selling their cell phones and electronics products in this country. Just banned them. And DJI, the biggest manufacturer of drones in the world. I got a closet full of DJI drones. They're now illegal. They've accused all these Chinese companies of spying on us. And they've outlawed the sale of them. They'll never bring these cars in the country, yet there are tens of thousands of YouTube videos about them, and all they do is make you drool. But we'll never be able to buy them. You'll never be able to import them into this country. And if they ever work out a deal, there'll be a 200% tariff on it, so it'll end up being twice as expensive as what you were going to buy anywhere. So it's a pipe dream. But you can't help but watch this and say, wow, so that's what cars could be. That's what they could be. And they make Elon Musk's operation, this BYD, they make his operation look like a candy store back room. If you can believe that. This company is so large, so big in China. They make everything, even the batteries. The leading supplier of batteries for electric cars in the Pacific Rim. And they're making cars. Oh, my God. And you drool. You know, if you like cars, you say, wow, God, I want one of those. This BYD put out a car like a supercar, you know, like a Lamborghini or Maserati. It's electric. It sells for about $170,000. It's a sports car, but it's like a race car, but like a Corvette. You could drive it. You could drive the kids to school in it if you wanted to, but they just did a test with this thing on a track in Germany. It's electric. It has one motor on each wheel, a grand total of 3,000 horsepower. 3,000 horsepower. And they did the track runs with this car. And it broke the world speed record for a production car. And they clocked it at 496 kilometers per hour, which is about 300 and something miles an hour. Most cars at 300 miles an hour would have been airborne and flipped over and killed everybody. But this thing is engineered so superbly, and it's so gorgeous. And it really does look like a race car. It looks like a car, that like a Vet, something that you drive, or a Lamborghini or one of those. The fastest production car in the world is from this Chinese company. So I don't know how I got onto that, but I thought it was interesting. Jeb says, I can't believe all the carnivore noise. It's crazy. Everyone is a scientist or know-it-all. Well, you think so. It seems that way. But here's the interesting part about it. You have to know who you're talking to. You can never lose sight of who you're teaching. When you make a YouTube video, you have to approach it, at least I do. You have to approach it like you're not talking to people that know what you know. You're talking to people that could care less and have never given a thought to biochemistry, for example. So I care about it. I've always loved it. I'm fascinated by how the human body works. And I equate it to how computers work and everything. And I understand chemistry. I've studied that on my own. I understand how the chemical reactions work. I understand why it works by itself, how this attracts that and this joins with that, and how a protein folds, which most of you don't even know what I'm talking about when I say how a protein folds. So how can I communicate to you the sheer wonder of what goes on in every cell of our body? 100,000 times a second, every second of every day, producing everything, all the different chemicals and hormones, thousands of them. The intricacy of it is tremendous. How can you talk to people that simply, it's like somebody who is one of these football guys that knows the name of every player that's been on every team since the beginning of time, can tell you the stats on every player and how many, how many touchdowns they had, how many yards they got rushing, and all that shit. Knows everything. Spent his entire life. 60, 70-year-old man who's just a football junkie. And he's taken a lifetime and accumulated all of this information. He and I could never have a conversation because I could give a shit about any of that stuff. I just don't care. I have no interest. I wouldn't recognize a word that came out of his mouth. I wouldn't even understand the meaning of some of the words if it was about football. Football? Who cares? And he wouldn't understand if words like the Krebs cycle came out of my mouth. Oxidative phosphorylation. ATP synthase. Messenger RNA, gene transcription. He went, what the hell are you talking about? Well, gene transcription. He was the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys in 1970. No. I can't do that. That's why if you're a guy like Bart Kay, a professor who taught this stuff, or Nick Norwitz, a doctor and a PhD in biochemistry, you can't speak your language. You lose people. You got to make analogies that they can understand and try to explain a concept to them. And that's what I try to do. So if more and more people talk more and more chemistry, it's meaningful to fewer and fewer people. And that's one of the things that makes Ken Berry the most successful guy in our field. He's a good old country boy, and he knows how to talk to people who aren't doctors, who aren't biochemists. He knows this stuff. I'm not a biochemist, but it surprises me to find out that I know intricacies that some of these doctors that I go to and try to treat me never heard of and have no understanding of the concept. Especially when it comes to metabolic health. That's very scary. That'd be like hiring an electrician to fix the wires in your house, and the guy says, excuse me, sir, which one of these is the dangerous one and which one is the neutral? The white and the black. Which one can I touch without electrocuting myself, and which one do I have to stay away from? If you heard that out of an electrician's voice, the next smart move for you would be to say, get the hell out of here. But that's what it's like going to some of these doctors for me. I ask them a question, a complicated question, about biochemistry, about lipid metabolism, about lipoproteins. They have no idea what I'm talking about. They have one thought in their head. They sound like Mr. Mackey on South Park. Cholesterol's bad. Cholesterol's bad. Okay? They don't know what they're talking about. They may have learned it back in first year med school, but they were kind of preoccupied with chasing women and going out and getting drunk and fraternity hazings back then. That some of that stuff never really took a permanent hold in their brain. And then once you took that stuff, you had no practical use for that knowledge anymore. And after all these years and all the distractions, it fades off like so many things that you and I learned way back in the first year of college. If you don't use it, you lose it. So unless you become a research chemist or biologist, you're going to forget the names of most of these things that you had to learn and repeat on a test when you were in medical school. Wow, look at the time. Look at the time. What does Sandy says? Loretta says, Sandy, Mitch might get too worked up with an answer. Shh. LOL. Okay, what was the question? Did somebody put a question in that I missed? Sandy, did you ask me a question that's going to aggravate me? Let's see. I promise I won't get aggravated. I don't see it. I haven't seen too many QQQs go by. It's been one of those rambling live streams. We've been running 70 to 80 people all night. Not the best turnout, but not the worst either. Now, well, it is Tuesday night. Lisa Marisa, I have my answer, no worries. Answer to what? Lisa, 4 a.m. my time, sorry. Lisa Marie, Sandy Blythe, what? Oh, Sandy Blythe deleted her message. Oh, there you go. It was probably a religious message. Well, I'm the wrong guy to ask about that. I'm the wrong guy to ask, and I've explained why I might get a little touchy about that, but I live and let live generally. I never preach to anybody. I never make videos trying to talk you out of it. There's plenty of them. Everybody is going to believe what they believe, and if it brings you comfort and joy and enriches your life, more power to you. I really believe that. That's all. Religion itself doesn't aggravate me. I understand it. In fact, I probably know more about it than most people because I spent a great deal of time studying the origins and history of most of the world's religion. I have read 4 Bibles cover to cover and the Quran. I've learned about Hinduism, Buddhism, because I've always felt unless you understand the historical origins and path of something, you can't understand it in its present state today. And so I know that about religion already. So people, when they start telling me things about religion that just aren't true, it's just propaganda, I just dismiss it. And even that doesn't bother me. But they don't know what I know, and it's not my job to teach them, and I envy them. I envy them if they get comfort and get something some out of it. More power to you. Just don't force it on me. Don't beat me up because of I don't believe what you believe. Don't punish me in any way. Don't try to kill me. That's just not right, because I don't do that to you. But I know about it. Believe me, I know about it. I used to wonder, how come the Protestants and the Catholics in Ireland keep blowing each other up? That's what I wanted to know. What the hell could cause these people who are sometimes in the same families to be bombing each other? And I found out. Okay. I found out. And like anything else, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's crazy. So I hate to talk about it. I hate to talk about it. It's a great crutch towards a positive mental attitude, however. And in that respect, it's can be very useful for so many people. Because a positive attitude, a belief that lives in your conscious mind, influences the way your subconscious mind actually acts. And ask anybody, ask Peter, who's probably taken more than 1 or 2 sales courses, if they don't emphasize the power of positive thinking. There's courses and books and great speakers throughout my lifetime on the subject of what you can achieve if you could only believe that you have the ability. I don't mean just mouth the words. I mean somehow get to the point where you are convinced. And that's the power of prayer. I believe that's the power of prayer. I believe it does achieve positive results, and it's a good thing. It just doesn't work the way people, in my opinion. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm telling you that sometimes I look at those people and I say, you know what? Whatever it takes for you to really believe that you have that ability, it will influence the way you act. It'll influence your confidence in yourself. It will influence the way the people dealing with you perceive you, and it will contribute towards your chances of your assessment of making a sale, because you'll instill trust in people. Because of the body language and everything else, it is controlled by your subconscious. So there's something to, it's a cause and effect to everything, every behavior, every bit of the way we are perceived. And I don't want to change anybody's mind. I just don't want you to demand that I believe what you believe, or I will suffer the consequences. And that's something I have experienced most of my life. So I'm a little touchy on the subject, but I manage to get by. I just sometimes, if I have other things in my life that aren't going the way they're supposed to, the things that I normally don't let bother me that much will bother me. I can't help that. And the last 8 months for me, folks, my friends, have been a real challenge to keep my attitude happy and to stay positive after what happened to me. I'm not looking for sympathy, just a little understanding that maybe sometimes, especially if I've had a rough day, if I've had a little setback in my recovery, because that's what happens, and I get a little depressed and not as optimistic about the future because things may not be progressing as fast as I'd like them to. All I ask is that sometimes people say, well, give them some slack. But people don't. They take it as a sign, they attack. They just attack. And then my love for the human race just goes away. People can be like sharks. There's no such thing as a compassionate shark. There's no such thing as a compassionate lion, regardless of what Disney puts out, makes cartoons about. Most animals, when they sense weakness of any kind, they go for the kill. Got news for you. Humans aren't much different. Humans aren't much different. Loretta, that's what we're here for, Mitch. We have strong show. Thank you. I mean, thank you. And I'm not looking for sympathy. Basically, things are going pretty good, but there have been some bad days, and I had a couple of bad weeks there. for a while. I don't talk about my problems. You got enough problems of your own. I'm supposed to be the guy that's here to cheer you up. And I say that to myself. I sit down and I say, what are you doing, Mitch? And I say, what do you mean? I said, what are you doing? You're in no position to cheer these people up. You want to kill everybody. You have a bad experience with some lunatic, and I don't like many people anyway. That's why I'm a loner. If you had my life, you'd be out in the woods somewhere with an electrified fence around your house and a machine gun and a turret on the roof. So the fact that I'm here on YouTube laughing and trying to cheer people up and help them is in itself. I don't like to use the word miracle because people have a religious context to it, but it's a miracle. It's something that even my children have a hard time accepting the fact that I can do this and be enthusiastic about it. Mitch, you did, but everyone deserves a chance. Of course. Which one of us out there has been in a bad mood for a couple of days? Things aren't going quite right. Usually that happens to us when we get on the scale. Oh, is Ellen here? Somebody said, Ellen, how come they're gone? Ellen is here. Hi, Ellen. She misses the authority of the wrench. Do you really, Ellen? That's funny. At least I noticed you when you came in because it was blue. But I'm glad to see you tonight. Thanks for being here. And we have a great group of people here. Most of you are here on Thursday night too, but there's no need for that. But you become my friends. I do care about you. I'm trying to make this work. I keep trying different things. So we'll call it a night for tonight. That's a strange little show. It's been one of the slowest shows that I've had, but it is Tuesday night. And if you know of a reason why we might not have had more people here, maybe it's election night. Maybe it's maybe there's some live streams going on somewhere that are very important. Let me know what it was. But we'll try it again next Tuesday night. So, not to be down or depressed, because I'm not. I'm actually having a good week this week. Weather's been good, cooled off a little bit. I've been walking around a lot, feeling good. I'm going to probably one day here in the next day or two, I'm actually going to go to the store for the first time since the stroke. I'm going to go to Sam's Club instead of having ordered delivered, and see how I'll take a camera. I'll take the camera with me. I'll photograph the adventure because it's going to be an adventure. I mean, it's a big event. Walking around that huge store using the shopping cart as a walker. So we'll see how that works out. But I am stretching out some more because I am getting a little tired of being housebound. And other than a few trips to the post office and have lunch with my son, I haven't been out of the house for 8 months. Going to have lunch with my son tomorrow. I will go to Sonny's Barbecue and do that. So thanks for coming, everybody. We will see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Be there or be square. And in the meantime, take the rest of the day off, whatever's left of it, and eat meat.